I'm going to get started, but this little book, you're going to learn how to make this little book by the end, not today, but you're going to be prepared with all the little things I'm going to show you. You'll maybe get a pen and paper to write down the dimensions of things if you need to. But this little pocket-sized book is, we're going to kind of lean towards that. But what I really want you to do today is the focus is going to be fusing papers and creating yummy, yummy papers with our wonderful washi papers. And I'm going to just show you a little stack. I've been kind of going nuts, but I'm going to show you first the Jamie. All right, wonderful, welcome. So Usagami is my new favorite washi paper. It's a tissue paper, very high quality tissue. It's beautiful. You can actually draw on it, watercolor it, collage, printmaking. It's fabulous. I love it. I love it. And I'm going to be using it a lot today. And another one I love, another of one of my favorites is the Asagami paper. And it is a little stronger. It's a hemp paper. It's a little stronger than the Usugami, but it's not as translucent, but it's a really great paper, especially if you want to put it through a laser printer or an inkjet, I think. Oh, Jean from rural AZ. I'm in rural AZ as well. So nice to have you here. So, and then Kozo, and I'm bringing up Kozo because Kozo is a really strong, amazing paper as well. And it makes a great collage paper and for what the techniques I'm going to do today. But if you want to try these techniques with deli paper, which is common, all the mixed media artists seem to love using deli paper. You could use deli paper or wet strength tissue paper or the 6JM, the Yasutomo 6JM, which I don't have a pack that I can show you because anyway, it's a big, big pad. I love it. It's inexpensive and you can do lots of things with that too. But I'm going to show you just kind of a fused paper. This is what I've been doing this week. I've been having so much fun with it. And Melinda's hi. Hi, Melinda. How are you? And Evelyn. Wow. So this is two pieces of usugami that I had put over this packing material. And I'll show you that. I'm going to demo how I did it. So it's going to be great for mixed media collage because it's got some texture. It's really strong and it's sort of translucent. You can't see from here, but it's translucent on the other side. And it's just amazing. And this is one I loved making. This is actually two pieces of usugami with Asagami, which is what I talked about here. Asagami, I had printed through my inkjet printer, and I punched circles, and I also punched circles with the pure origami paper. You know our pure paper, right? It comes it's a pure color all the way through, which I'm going to have to grab my little. There it is. This is the small pack, but it's pure color all the way through, and it makes for a great paper that you can use for double sides. So it shows on both sides. You can see the blue and it's on both sides. So two sheets usagami with some little cutouts sandwiched in between. And actually, a couple of years ago, I think fodder school, I think it was Rebecca Chapman, she did something called tissue traps, and I just loved that name. The fusing I've seen done in Japan, where they take little cutouts of fibers and it gets fused in between two pieces. And that's kind of what this is inspired by the Japanese art of fusing paper. But I loved her name, tissue traps, because it is exactly what it does. It traps things. Here's a little, this is like a confetti paper, I call it. I made this by just using a standard hole punch and pure origami and just sprinkled it on and fused it. I'm going to show you the techniques so you can kind of see. Okay. And this is kind of like a tissue trap thing where I just cut strips of washi paper that I had dyed, or, I think it was some of the different techniques. I haven't flattened it, so it's kind of wrinkly. But look at that. It's so much fun. I've got this little thing that I might put in a journal page. This is my favorite. It's a wiggly string technique, and I am in love with it. I'm going to show you that today. It is too cool. I've got two pieces of it, and look at the texture. You can take this and put some color over it, and you can use it in your journal pages. And this is a string that I had cut, two pieces of Usagami, and look how you can't hear it. I mean, maybe you can hear it, but it's very thin because it's two sheets of Usugami. So it's a beautiful piece that I can use in my, book, can make end papers, journals, all kinds of stuff with this. But I love that. That's with the cut up cotton string. And I just sprinkled it over. And I don't know if you can see this, but there's four bits of, this is that drywall tape. And I put it on a piece of, hi, Elka, and I put it on the Usagami and fused it. So now I've got this paper and I actually can turn it into like an accordion folded something. And I'm going to figure something out with that. I just love that. So there it is. And these are some tissue traps from back from fodder school. I did with Rebecca. And I wanted to show you these. I've been fusing paper for a long time. This is a fused piece of origami paper I was making to intend to do full origami, and I had painted first, I painted these little, I just stamped with acrylic paint these circles, and then I fused two sheets of paper, and I've got a nice strong paper. And this is just some fused washi paper that had been gel printed. So fusing, this is the word. This is a fused 6A, I think it's 6J, 6JM and a 6H. It's a little thicker, almost like cardstock, but it's two pieces of paper that they were gel printed. And this is another one I had fused. It's two gel printed 6JM sheets. Well, no, this is gel printed. This one is a rubbing. If you remember on past Facebook Lives, I've done rubbings with a stencil underneath, and that's how I did it. Now, this one I just did yesterday. I'm in love with it as well. It is little confetti circles with acrylic asemic writing, and I just love that because I can't wait to put it in a journal, really. And then these, I'm going to show you how I did this, but these were inspired by an artist. Oh my gosh, and my brain just left. Shannon Green. Shannon Green. Oh my God, I almost forgot. I'm getting old, right? But Shannon Green is she's a crafter and she's an artist. And she did something like this. And I just fell in love. I have a technique that I'm going to show you that makes it's a little different than what she did, but it's certainly inspired by her. And I really appreciate her, her YouTube video. So if you don't know her, go check out our YouTube channel. She has some amazing paper crafting techniques and she's always inspiring me. So shout
Sorry,
out.
Karen, was that Sharon Green or Shannon?
Shannon.
Shannon. All right, I'm gonna look her up and link that too in a
Yeah,
pinned
yeah,
comment where I'm gonna list all the items that Karen is showing us. And then I also have a quick question, but did you
yeah.
have something you were saying?
No, so I just wanted to shout her out because shout out Shannon because first of all, she's funny, very funny, and you'll laugh when you she's just as funny. And I love the way she does her processes. So this is definitely from her. So I wanted to give her that shout
Oh,
out. Okay,
that's
so
awesome. So
yeah.
Denise had a question. She said she has a package of something called See I believe, drawing paper. It's like a strong tissue paper. Are you familiar with it?
No, how's it spelled? Simi, like Simi
Simi, like
Valley.
yeah, yeah.
Never heard of it, but let's Google it and see what we come up with.
All right.
So here's the thing: the difference between Shannon, she called it DIY lace paper. I think that's what she calls it. So if you can't find her, you'll find just by searching that. What I did is she had used, I don't even remember what she used, but of course, because I have been with Yasutomo for so long, I used Nori Paste to make these, and found it an incredible. I'm more in love with Nori Paste now than I ever was. Just, I don't know how I could have gotten more in love with it, but I am. This is the baby one. If you want to get a baby size, it's cute. It's a pocket size Nori Paste, or you can get a 10-ounce studio jar, or you can go for the big kahuna and get a 20-ounce. And now that I realized I can use this for all kinds of things, much more than I thought before, I think getting a 20-ounce, you might as well because you're going to be using it. I guarantee it, you'll be using it. So Nori paste comes kind of thick. This one has there's actually a little, kind of a little, whatever this is. It's kind of a divider. It's not dried nori. What it is, it's just like it was probably supposed to be something to seal, but it fell through. I hate to waste paste, but anyway, there it is. So that's the paste. It's kind of a thick, there you go. I hate to waste that. Nori paste is thick, heavy bodied, holds a peak, and that could be good if you want to use, that could be good. But for today, what I did is I took nori paste, put it in a jar, my little glass jar here, and I added water. So I added water, and it takes a little bit of stirring, but I added enough water so that it would be more like instead of more like a melted ice cream consistency. And you could do that with methyl cellulose. It won't be as sticky as this. Methyl cellulose is good, but this is even stickier than methyl cellulose. You can use the nori without anything else. It works. This is what I did with these, and it leaves like no residue. It just feels like part of the paper. It's weird. There's no like a stir, there's nothing in there that makes you think, oh, there's something like a gel medium would do, right? It would give you that some kind of film, the polymer film. If you wanted to make it stickier, just for a little extra stick, you can always add a little white glue. This is just PVA. You can well, actually, I might have even added some to this just to see because I like to try things, but not much. Just a few drops of PVA. You mix it in with that, and now I've got this nice little concoction of paste, and I'm ready to do my thing. So I'm excited. So that's how you prepare your paste if you want to do this kind of stuff. Now, nori paste is great just straight out of the jar too, but I know she used Yes Paste. She talks about Yes Paste, and I've never really enjoyed Yes Paste as a final. Uh, it's got a stickiness. It kind of attracts moisture. I guess that's the word I'm coming up with. I found this is much better than Yes Paste because you don't feel this residue. You won't feel a stickiness, and I think that this one here I did with Yes Paste, or one of those. I did this one. The first one I did, I might have done some Yes Paste, and it doesn't feel the same as the ones I later did with Nori. So you could see there's more translucency here than this one because it didn't alter the paper at all. It just feels like it's part of it. Okay, so I've got lots of stuff to show you. And oh, Lynn likes Nori much better. Yes, and I love Yes Paste. I used it for years, but I used to find out that I would see things that would, unless I coated it with something else, it would attract moisture. So if you have a jar of Yes Paste, by all means use it, but you might want to use a gel medium to seal your work afterwards, just as a heads up on that. Okay, so I'm going to put all my little finished papers away, and then we're going to get to the journal thing after I've done some fun little things. So I've kind of prepared my little demo. So these are the three papers I'll be talking about, which I already showed you. So I'm going to put those away, and I'm going to start fusing. So let's have it. Let's do it. So I like to use a craft mat or something that's waterproof and it is portable. And I like to have it just a little bigger than the paper I'm going to use. And the first thing might as well get it to the paper I'm going to use here. That's perfect size. And I've kind of bunched my papers just for this demo together so I kind of know what I'm doing. Now, this is Usagami. No, I'm sorry, Asagami. I know it's hard. Usugami is the tissue. Asagami is the one that feels a little more crisp. It's great for printing. I printed this. This was some paper I painted, scanned, and then I printed it through my laser printer. And this is a piece of 6JM. Apologize, 6JM. It's the thinner sheet, and that's a gel printed piece. Now, I wanted to make this double-sided, which is, my favorite. I love double-sided papers for origami. In fact, this little piece here is a double-sided tissue paper I did. It's double-sided, and I made this little box out of it this week. Actually, this is a little cut piece using the same technique I'm going to show you. So first thing I'm going to do is I always take the paper that has the least amount of absorbency. I'm going to put that on the bottom. So the Asagami feels crisper. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the bottom. And I'm going to take my nori paste mixture, and I'm going to take this nice BFC1 Hake brush. It's a Hake brush, sheep hair, very soft. And I'm going to put some paste right in the middle of my paper. And I'm going to brush it from the middle going out. And it doesn't have to be a really thick coat at this point. Thin is good. And I did add a little PVA to this. I can feel the difference. It's creamy. It's really beautiful. The thing, why you could probably wonder, why do you add the PVA? Well, it does add a little more stick to it. But the nori paste allows me to reposition it, which I think is really essential, especially on certain things. But I love this texture, or not texture, but the consistency, kind of a melted ice cream consistency, is really the best consistency for this technique. So I'm just brushing it out all the way, coat all of the paper, and I'm letting it soak into the fibers of the paper. And then I'm
Do
going
you
to
think, Karen, that you can use an inkjet with the Asagami printer?
I would try it. I haven't tried it yet. I'm a little, I would be, you probably could, but every printer is different. I don't know. I think it should be tried. I could try it. I have a printer somewhere, an inkjet. So I'm going to put this right on top, and I'm going to kind of center it. And then I'm going to drop the paper, and I'm going to kind of push outwards like this. Now, one thing I should have gotten out of my thing when I hopefully find it. I got a fresh one here. I'm gonna just grab this one. A fresh uh, Baron or Baden. It's our, it's a very handy tool for this because it's got a certain, it doesn't tear the paper. It just helps to smooth it out. I use it for a lot of things. So that is how simple that is to fuse. Now, if you find that you've got a little edge here that's just kind of sticking up, you can just kind of, you know, bring it down, and you can even put some of the glue on top. But so then I'm going to let that sit aside. Actually, I'll turn it over, and I'm going to just kind of smooth it out on this side, and then let that dry completely. That's how easy that is. It's so easy. Plus now I've got a paper that's going to be nice and heavy. I can use it as cardstock, use it as, I don't know about if I'd fold it. It's a little heavy for that probably. And I'm going to set that one aside since that's a done deal. And I'm going to take another, I'm going to start fusing things. Now, this one is this is just two pieces of Usugami that I had. Actually, it's just one piece. I cut it in half. And I have if you remember on one of our lives, I did a sumi ink thing, and I just started doing my thing. Now, I think it's going to look really interesting if I just fuse these together. So this is the side that I painted. That's the wrong side. That's the side I painted. I guess it doesn't matter. And the same thing, I'm going to brush just from the center going outward. And really, this is the Usugami, so it's thinner, and it's a little more delicate when it gets wet. So once you get it wet, you're going to notice it's like, ooh, very delicate. But it's still stronger than if you were to just use plain tissue paper. Absolutely. There's some nice fibers in it, a little longer fibers than like a regular tissue paper, commercial tissue paper. Wet strength tissue would work, and deli paper would work for this too. The deli paper may wrinkle a lot more though, because it has more plasticky something in it, like a wax, I guess. It's something like that. So I'm going to just kind of let that, make sure I've got all the glue, and I'm going to let the fibers swell a little bit. And I'm going to try to smooth these little wrinkles out. And really, I don't worry myself too much about the wrinkles. Hey, I've got wrinkles. Well, I'm not worried about them. Right. We just kind of embrace the wrinkles. Let's see. Gonna go ahead and lay this right on top. This is this is the print, this is the painted side, that's the printed, not the wrong side as we call it. I'm just gonna lay it right on top. And then what I have done is I've kind of fused these two together, and it's creating a really interesting pattern. And it's sort of sealing that ink inside it as well, which I think is gorgeous. You can go over it with the brush if you want, like with kind of dry brushing it. You want to just sort of really seal the pieces together. That is going to be pretty. Now, I usually like to leave it on the this mat to dry because it seems to be okay though. All right, so I can pick it up. You can see, look at that. It looked very interesting, kind of a very dramatic black on black, black on white, or whatever that is. I love it. So I'm going to set that, I'm going to just set this on something. And I did give myself plenty of these little mats to work with, so good. So I'm going to just take this one and I'm going to just put it on here so that I can sit it on the floor and move on to the next. But these take like, a few hours, depending on where you live. Just leave them there to dry. Patience is a good thing. Just let them dry on their own. Okay, now I think this is the same thing. I won't bore you with that. This one is momigami. If you remember the momigami that we did, it's kind of, this is a real soft gossen, actually. That's Usugami. I'm going to try this. I don't know how it's going to work because I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to put some of this on the on the gossen that has been been wrinkled with, I think I used coconut oil on this one. So it's really soft and I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I think it's going to be fun to try. So that's why I like these lives. Sometimes I have plans and then sometimes I just sort of wing it. And this one I wanted to try, see how it would look. And the reason I'm backing this momigami is it's so soft that I can't really work with it. So I want to strengthen it or make it so I can write on it or do, artwork on the back. So I'm just going to give this a good coating of the glue of my paste. And I'm just going to once I've got the paste all on there, which I think I do, I'm going to go ahead and put, this is, so you'll feel when you have usugami, there's going to be a smooth side and kind of a rougher side. I'm going to put the rough side down because that's actually better for adhering. And I'm just going to lay it on there, and from the center going out, I'm just going to kind of do the same thing, kind of just gently fuse these two, and that's going to be awesome. I can feel the stuff sticking, and if I wanted to, I can again just kind of a light damp brush can go over it, and I think that's probably good enough. And then what it will do is it will make this a much sturdier paper that I can use, and the wrinkles are still there. I don't know if you can see that, but that texture of the momi is still there, which is really nice. So I'm just going to let that sit and put that on something else. I'm going to keep finding these mats. All right, another mat to put on. Wait till, we'll use these for the next 2 weeks from now. We'll have a project for you. So now let me just show you, because I know you're probably thinking about this. Like how do you make the other paper? So let me show you. So this is, I've got 2 pieces of Usagami cut. I'm working small today because I want to do a lot of these quickly. And I want, you to get the full experience. So I've got Usagami, the rough side is up. And I'm going to grab my little circles. I have to decide which ones I want to put out. I get the stuff ready beforehand. So these are pure paper circles that I had cut out. And these are like collage soup, if you know the company, collage soup papers. Let me just kind of mix them up. I think it'd be fun to just throw them on there randomly. We're going to make like a polka dot, thrown on polka dot paper. This, you can do the little tiny polka dots or you can do the big ones like that. So you just get your paper, your colors, however you want them. And then you're going to put your paste on the wrong side, and you want to put plenty. You don't want to skimp on this one. You want it to have a good coating. I'm wondering, I don't know how gel medium would work for this. I think it would, but it would be very plasticky, which the Nori paste is not. It feels so like integrated with the paper. It's just beautiful. All right, so see how it's all translucent now? It's got plenty of paste on there. Now I'm just going to start dropping and this is great. It's a double-sided because I printed a double-sided. I'm not worried about, it can be one. See, both sides are printed. So I can just drop these down, make sure I'm doing one at a time, and just kind of, whoops, I'm gonna get rid of, I don't like that one. That one's got like a little weird edge, so I'm just gonna turn it around so it's on the outside of my paper. Maybe put those little dots down, and I'm gonna do this one a little differently than I've been doing the other ones. I'm gonna place the dots really close to each other just to see what happens, and just like a little arrangement of dots on my paper. You can throw them on like confetti if you want, but I'm gonna place them on a little more kind of, it's random, but also not random. And I could use these little, these, why not? Let's do a few of these bigger ones out of the pure paper. Just kind of throw them out, throw them, sort of. Just kind of putting them out there like this. And you can go to the all the way to the edge, which I think is a neat thing because you're going to cut the paper, or you may leave them. The little pieces on the edge might look really cool. Just two pieces, two blues, the same blue. Oops, not. I'll put that one right there. And maybe I'll put this one here and just kind of throw them on. You can see where I'm going. I'm starting to overthink it as I do. I'm just gonna stick these on and get those smaller ones in there too. See how fun this is? Like for kids can do this. You can get your, kids, grandkids, Maybe you can get Cassia to make
That's
these,
right.
right?
My
And
daughter's with me.
look how I can rearrange this. Now, this you could not do with any other glue. Okay, so like here, if I want to scooch this little thing out of the way, see I'm moving it, and I can scooch that in there. You can't do that. You just can't with regular glue. It just won't. It's not going to happen. It's going to stay where it's going to stay, and you're stuck. So this is what I love about that. I can change my mind. I can be fussy if I want, which I kind of am when I'm creating. Let me tell you, doing this paper this week has been such fun making these. I feel like I'm in paper heaven because I get to just make all these fun little, just, it's fun. And the process is fun. It's just the doing this, and I don't really, doesn't matter what I've made, I guess, just making this happen is just so much fun. I'm going to keep getting this. I've never loaded this paper this much, but I thought it'd be fun to try. I really loaded circle thing here, and then maybe that's enough. I might just try putting on a couple more pieces. And I'm going to scooch that out of the way, scooch this one, and put that one there. And I think I've kind of done it. This one has several. Maybe I'll stick this one on the edge. Oh, here's a polka dot. I love that black. Oops. I'll just do this one. Putting it on the edge, and maybe another one goes on the edge. I'm kind of liking the idea of having some of this paper sticking out of the edge. I think that's gonna make it fun. All right, I think I've done my enough. So now I'm gonna just take that brush gently because I know that these will move around, and I'm going to cover the pieces of the little dots that I made with some paste, just to really finish it off. And if they move around and they slide around, that's fine. But I'm just kind of putting that on and making sure I cover the whole thing. Because if you don't, then it doesn't fuse. It only fuses the areas that have the paste. So let's just do that. And once I've got a nice coating, which I think I do, I get to put the little sandwich on. I'm going to move this over. That's too close. I'm going to move it. And I get to move it. See how I'm able to move that paper? Try that with glue. It won't work. There. So now it's on there. I think I've got enough paste on my thing. It's totally disappeared. You can't even see it on the paper. Now I'm just going to put the smooth or the rough side down, and I'm going to center it right over the thing and lay it on. And oh, that's going to be so cute, isn't it? I love it. Now there's another thing you can do. If you have wax, like freezer paper, I love freezer paper for this. Freezer paper is amazing because you can really get into the grooves. See what I'm doing? I'm just kind of pushing the paste really into the thing, and then I'm going to pick it up, and there it is. Now that I'm going to let that sit. It would be not a good idea to take this off the mat right now. So I'm just going to let that be. But if I wanted to, I'll show you. You can do it while it's still wet. But anyway, it's going to be, I'm going to leave it. You'll see, I'll post a picture of it later. But there it is. I'll let that dry. And once it's completely dry, it'll pop right off. I love that. Okay, so any questions so far on these? Because I'm having fun. I hope you are. Now, this is another piece. Let me grab. This is piece of the 6JM. Oh, I've got two. Oh, no, I've got two pieces. Interesting. I don't know why I did that, but I'm thinking, why did I do that? Well, because I thought that I had two pieces. I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half. And this is remember, this is no, Origami. It's a folded paper, and it's kind of hard to use because it's really feels kind of fragile and it has all these folds in it. So I have a piece of 6JM and I'm going to back it with 6JM. And then I have another piece of Kozo, I think, and I'm going to back it with Kozo. Back the other side with Kozo. Now what will happen is if this is going to be, it's going to make it white on one side. If I use the Usugami, which probably should just show you. If I use the Usugami, it will be transparent. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it transparent. So this is the choices you have. You can make, your papers translucent, or you can make them have an opacity, which could be good for journaling. So this is the 6JM, and I'm re-wetting it with the glue. And you notice the inks, these were acrylic, no, these were sumi inks. And I think it was a liquid ink, like a non-permanent liquid ink, but it doesn't smear. I'm not seeing any color being lifted at all. So the paper itself really sets it permanently. Okay. Now I'm going to just stick the piece of Usugami on top, rough side down, and I'm just going to write as much in the center as I can. And I've got a little edge left over, no big deal. I'm just going to take this, or like you could, if you feel like oops, you want to do this, you can take your freezer paper, do it on the shiny side, and just kind of lay it on, and really, you can even do this. That'll really do it. Let's see what we got here. Isn't this fun? I mean, I'm having fun. Now this one, it came off. Oh, that's kind of cool. It transferred. Oh, some more dots. Oh boy, things are gonna get messy. I knew it. So this is transferred onto the to the freezer paper, and that's fine. So now you can kind of see it while it's, there. So now it's kind of like translucent on both sides. You can see the art on both sides, which I really like. So that's cool. All right, so I'm going to put that one aside. I love it. It's going to make a real nice, strong piece of paper. The Nori paste does strengthen the paper quite a bit. It makes it like a sizing, and I love that. Okay, now I got that piece. All right, there's another. The string one. I want you to see the string one. Now, this is the one it's a piece of that packing, that packing stuff that's sort of weird when you open it up. I just flattened it and it's nice and flat. You can fuse that. I'm just not going to do that now because I have another thing in mind, but I want to show you the silly string thing. And I'm going to make sure we have plenty of time because the most important one is going to be the woven one. Okay. I'm making sure that this will be the silly string one. I'm going to call it silly string. So I have my smooth side down. And in this one, I'm going to put the glue on the Usugami like this. And make sure it's thick enough, not, just nice and smooth. That's why adding water to the paste is a really good idea. And then kind of brushing from the center going out. And that kind of helps get the wrinkles smooth out, because as it gets wet, it starts to swell, and that's what causes the wrinkles. Wouldn't it be easy to get rid of wrinkles on their face this way? But nope, doesn't work. All the miracle creams, I'm going to tell you right now, they don't work. It's okay. All right. There we go. All right. So I've got a pretty much good, nice coating. And I'm going to take some string, and this is a cotton string that it's called Pearl Cotton #8. So it's a kind of a thin, pretty thin cotton. And this stuff, I'm just going to put it on and just let it wiggly wiggly. I'm just going to do this. I'm not trying to do any designing. I mean, I don't care if it goes off the page. Just going to make it silly. I'm just taking it and kind of letting it do its thing. It's cotton, so that's going to make for a beautiful paper, and it strengthen the paper, and it looks fabulous. And this kind of has a natural way of curling anyway. It kind of just swirls on its own. I don't have to really work hard to do it. But this is like, to me, this was the most fun, and the confetti I had the most fun with. But I'm going to do one more little pass of this, and you could cut it. You don't have to make it one piece, but to save time, I'm just doing one piece, one string. And I'm going to cut. Where did I put those scissors? There we are. Cut it. And then you can, if you want to rearrange it, you're welcome to rearrange it. But, it's kind of fun just letting it lay there where it's going to lay. And now I'm not going to put any, I'm hoping that this will be enough. If I wanted to put a little bit of glue on this side, I would, but I'm just going to try it this way. I mean, because I think there's enough openings here, it should be fine. And I'm just going to do the same thing. This time there's going to be, it's going to have little grooves. So the same thing I'm going to take this and I'm going to just put it down I'm going to put my wet wax freezer paper, which I love, and just want I want all these little things to be closed. I don't want any, oh, there you can see with my fingers. So what's happening is it's not ready yet until this is ready. When I put my fingers on it, there, see how it's a difference between, you've got these openings and they look white. You want these to be like closed. That's telling me that I'm fusing the paper to the string. So I'm going to keep doing that, just kind of using my fingers like this rather than getting glue all over myself. I can just kind of rub it. You see how that's closing the gaps of those little gaps in between the strings. You want those completely closed. And this is very therapeutic. You want to have yourself, instead of baking bread, you can make this and you get the same, less calories too, right? So much fun. These in the colored threads I bought off Amazon in a little, they were like jewel tone threads. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And I'm just going to keep moving or manipulating these. Now, if they don't quite close the gap, if I don't have those closed, it's probably not going to hurt it, but what I could do is put a little more glue on it, but I think I'm going to be okay just by pressing my thumbs into that. And you could take just a little bit and put it on top and kind of, there it goes, just a little, not much. I'm just going to put a little, like, enough just to kind of dampen that. And then I'm going to, with my fingers while it's kind of wet, as long as I don't over manipulate it, because I could rub off the Usugami if I push too hard or rub, let's see. Pushing is fine, but rubbing, it can be a problem. So I think that one's good. I'm going to just let that kind of marinate, but that's going to be a fun little paper to use. Look how gorgeous that is with the string. And then I'll just trim the strings off and it's going to be gorgeous. All right, so there's that one. Then here's the one that Shannon inspired me to do. I'm going to show you that because it takes a little longer. It's really a fun technique. Let me grab, oops, I need to grab another one of these. We just take one of these off. I already have taken all my pieces of, there we go. So I've got this piece and I'm going to grab 2 pieces of paper. Now let me see what the measurements are on this one. Okay. Well, I can deal with this. I'm going to deal with this. Okay. So I'm going to tell you, if you want to make this for your book cover, okay, this is the book cover that Shannon, she made, that's what she inspired me to do, is to make this little journal. She showed how to make these just like this on her YouTube channel. So if you want to make one ahead of time, you're certainly welcome to do that. But what I did is I have I'll give you the ingredients before I start making this, just so you kind of know where I'm going with this.
Hey, before that, Jamie asked a question about could you put the string in some of the paste first to moisten it?
I do. I'm going to show yes. Yep, yes, I could. In fact, I'm going to do it when I do this so that it will work. Yes, absolutely, you can. Just if you want your hands not too dirty. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do this is the kind of the ingredients for, oops, it's not supposed to be there. This is the ingredients for the journal that I'll be putting together and hopefully I share with you all in a couple weeks. If not, like I mentioned to Phoebe, I'm gonna be pre-recording one because I have no idea where things will be in 2 weeks. Some of you know that I am about to get some treatment for breast cancer and second time around. And I'm going to get something and I'll find out on Monday. So I have a feeling that's going to be, I'll probably maybe be recovering from something by 2 weeks from now, but we'll see. But what you want to do, this is the 5x7 sheet of hot press watercolor paper. Okay, what I did, and this is a Shannon thing, I treated it with glycerin. Okay, first. Now it still feels like leather now. It feels really amazing. So I treated it with glycerin first and let it soak into the paper, and then I put acrylic paint on it. You could put watercolor on it too. I did the same thing with this one. Well, not this one, this big one here. I did it, and it feels great. So it feels like instead of card, it feels like leather. It feels really cool. It's gonna take a little time to dry. It's still wet because I did it this morning because it's glycerin. So it's just 5x7. And then you're gonna take, and I'll show you this in a little while, but then you have 5x7 sheets of paper. This is just sulfite paper that I watercolored and stained. Okay. I just have several sheets of that. And then I have just some of my fun papers, like some of the string paper I've cut down. These will be for the single signature book. Just get some papers that you like that kind of go with it. And then this is your book contents. Now I'm going to help you make the cover. This is the cover for this one. I made this morning and it's going to look beautiful. So this is how I'm going to show you how I made this today. And if you want to, watch the recording, you can make one exactly this size to fit that, or you can just do it in any size. But this is to make so that it fits over that 5x7. So it's going to be a little under 5. It's more like 4.5 by 6.5. So excuse me. Today I'm going to use this is the Asagami and the Kozo. No, I'm sorry, Usugami. Yep, that's Usugami. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to really give it a nice, thick, generous amount of paste because I'm going to be using this string. And I've already pre-cut some string ahead of time. A nice thick, good amount. Ooh, there it goes.
Quick question on the glycerin that you were talking about. Elke's wondering, do you brush it on or soak it, or how do you apply
I
that
brush
one?
it on and then I kind of rub it with my hands, because it's a vegetable. It's 99% anhydrous, whatever that means. But I just brush it on and kind of let it, I think I put too much on it, but I wanted it to soak into the fibers of the paper. And you can just put some on it, let it sit there and then kind of let it soak in. And it's perfect. It works really good to soften your papers. Okay, so here's my pre-cut strings ahead of time because I didn't want to bore you with cutting string. But I've made some for the long and I've made some for the short. And all I'm going to do on this one, on the first one, I'm going to lay this stuff down. And the reason I'm not putting any paste on it right now is I will brush it because it will be in one direction and it won't, whoops, it won't go everywhere. If I just lay it down, it should just be good. And you'll see what I'll do. I'm just going to lay these little pieces. You can have them longer and you can trim them later if you want or not. I think Shannon, she didn't trim hers, and actually, I found that it was fun to unravel the pieces, and you get this fun little fibrous thing going. So why not? I'm gonna put this one here. Gonna keep my little here, like kind of like this. So put it across. Now I'm going to just since I've got I'm just going to put a little paste on top of those strings. And since I'm going in one direction, it's okay. Now for the next layer, I'm going to I'll be doing what she mentioned with the, let's see, gotta grab something here I can do this with. I certainly ran out of a lot of my little pieces here oh, there's one more mat, yay. So I'm gonna use this to get these kind of ready. All right, so these are just the little other strings, and I'm just gonna put some paste on them like this. Okay, just you can get them all, and this isn't going to hurt your hands if you get it all over your hands. But anyway, you see, I'm just getting them sort of pasted, and you can do it any way you want, but that's just one way to do it. And then I'm just going to kind of put that pasted piece over that, kind of like a weaving, sort of cheating. It's a weave, but it's cheating because I'm not really weaving. Kind of looks like a weave though. And I'm just going to lay these on top. You can make them wiggly or you can make them straight. But I'm going to kind of do a straight thing. And the more paste you have, the more moisture you have on your paper, the better, because there's going to be a thing we're going to do. Now, Shannon, what she did is she did it like this, put this together, and then she waited for it to dry, and she added the holes afterwards. And I found that adding the holes while the paper is still wet works better. So if she catches this, hopefully that'll inspire her, because it really does make a difference to just wait for the work it while it's still wet. It doesn't have to be even. In fact, the wonkier the better. Now I'm going to take my Usugami and I want the smooth side. Yeah, smooth side up. And I'm going to lay it right on top. Okay, there we go. Just lay it on top. And then this one is going to need to go into the grooves. And I'm just going to try to get that. Of course, my hands are all sticky. Sticky
While you're doing
hands.
that, could I ask you? Patty was asking, what's the nori to water ratio? And I think she means the one you had added some TVA
Yeah.
to.
Well, since I'm not really a good cook, I can't tell you the exact ratio, but what you do is you put the nori paste in the jar and then you add water and you start to stir until you get it to the consistency that you like. I don't really know. I can say maybe 2 to 1 is probably a guess, but I can't be 100% sure. That's the way I cook. I don't cook like normal people do. I'm going to take my um, wax. I'm gonna turn it over. It's kind of got sticky on it already, but I'm just gonna turn it over. I'm just gonna kind of put my fingers in those grooves. Okay, nice. Whoop, there we go. Oops, it's kind of now it's sticking to my paper. There we go. And as long as as I notice, if I just kind of notice that those are in there, you can also take your brush. In fact, go ahead and you brush another kind of a very light coat of the paste mixture. You can also wet it if you want. And that gives me a little moisture so that I can touch it and kind of push my fingers in this into the grooves to make sure that you don't have any holes, bubbles, or gaps. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to destroy this. This is my favorite part. This to me is almost like better than popping air. What are those things called? When the packing, the bubble packing, that how
Bubble wrap.
addictive bubble wrap. This is just as addictive, but not noisy. Like bubble wrap. So I'm going to take our handy folding tool. This thing is great for what I'm going to do. So I've got enough, I think I have enough moisture and I'll start in the center and I'm going to go in the center of this with the tip of my little bamboo folding tool. And I'm going to kind of poke a hole by I'm just kind of pushing it and I'm poking a hole and I'm just going in a circle. I hope you see that. Hope you can see that. That if I need to zoom in, I should zoom in. Let me know if you want me to zoom in. But what I'm doing is I'm just kind of going in a circle motion and I'm just creating a hole. And that's kind of the lacy part, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing here, just pushing until I break through, and then I just sort of push it out until I get a kind of circle shape. Now you could do this with just random holes, or you can, in fact, I won't do the whole, I'll just go random. Normally I do the whole thing, but I think random would look really nice as well. So I've got that and maybe this one. So it kind of looks more random, just so perfect. And you can go all the way to the edge, just making sure that you're not exposing your twine. You can kind of just touch it. It's not sticky enough to be causing an issue yet. Now I like to go to the edge here, and I like to actually tear the edge out like that, just to rip it out. And it'll be nice and strong. And as long as I don't get too close to my strings, because I want to keep those in there, then it'll look really nice and random. Maybe I'll do this one. So you see how it's very therapeutic, at least for me. And it just feels really cool to just poke holes and stuff, right? And you just go, make these little random holes, and you can make them in different sizes if you want. And you can keep working it until you're happy with it. And then I'll turn it over in a moment. I'll take it up off the mat so I can see what it looks like on the other side. Because that side, on the other side, is the side I'm going to be showing off. That's the side I'm going to be, this is the side I'm gluing onto the card or onto the book cover. So if you want to make a book cover with me this way, this is the size you want to do it and kind of the technique. Now I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to try doing the same thing with on the other side. There we go. And there it is. Now you notice, see how you see the texture of the string really good. And here I don't see it. So what I need to do is I need to lay that down and I need to give it a little ironing, whatever it's called. With this, I'm going to just take kind of push my fingers, give it a little iron. It's here. Yeah, get those. We want those string threads to really give texture and poke up so you can see them more clearly. And I've got this paper that I had printed on my inkjet, and I really love the texture that's happening here. The little print is showing really nicely. And this is actually some collage master sheets that I had done. And I'm just going to keep getting those, making sure I have a nice texture showing through. Now I'm going to try poking holes on this side and see what I get. And I want to round this one out a little bit more because it's just, I want it to be round if I can get it round. I guess it doesn't have to be perfect. Then I'm going to do another one. I'm going to poke the hole. There it goes. I can do the same thing on this side, which is probably the side I should have started it on. But anyway, no big deal. Here's another one, just finding the little section inside there, and now I'm just gonna bring it out. And the string kind of works as a barrier for your little tears. You can go as far as you can to the edges without compromising the integrity of the string and the paper sort of touching or bonding with each other. And then if you want to, you can add some more paste. I think I didn't add paste to this side, so I might need to do that. But this is how I do this. And it was so fun to watch Shannon's video because I was like, oh, I thought immediately this stuff is going to be great with Nori Paste and our washi and Yasutomo washi paper. I just knew it was going to be a good match. So there it is. I think I've got all of the, yeah, I can do a little more. Okay, so that's probably enough. Of course, I can keep going. And since it is slow drying, I do have time. But now you can see kind of what this looks like. I like it. I'm just gonna let it sit and dry. Now the other thing I want you to do, and I'm going to show you this real quickly. So to prepare for your book, you've got a sheet of watercolor paper, right? That you're going to color if you want. You paint it, or you don't have to put the glycerin, but I did. And then you're going to take several sheets of, just regular paper. And I'm using, this is sulfite paper, just so you know, 80 GSM. And this is watercolor. I'm not dealing with acrylic paints right now. I don't really want to. I don't like the cleanup associated with it. And I'm going to use this fusion brush, and I'm going to grab my water container. Now I'm in a watercolor mode. And I've got the little pad here. I'm just going to grab some color, and I'm going to put some on my what's this thing? My my wax paper pad. I'm just going to paint on it like this. And you notice what's happening? I got these neat little bubbly things going on. I love that. And I'm just going to lay this on, and I do this on several pieces of paper, by the way. I'm just going to let's put that on like that. Okay, and I'm going to turn it over, and I've got this beautiful, yummy thing going. And I'm going to add, let's see, some indigo or something, just some watered down. Let that soak in because now I have it soaking in a little. And I'm going to put a little turquoise maybe and some phthalo blue and just a very light wash. And my little print will still, my little blotty thing will still be underneath. So I can do this to both sides. So I've got the first side done, almost. There, like that. It's a very pale color, but it tints the paper enough so that I've got a nice, not just white paper. And turn it over, and I've got already something going on there, so I'm just gonna, same thing, just a very light wash. And you do this to all your papers, and you want several. I have, I think, 5 sheets, but 3 to 5 sheets for your book, and you just let those dry completely. You can spatter if you want, like if you wanted to take some color and just spatter like that. You want, like, whoops, I got it on myself. You can just, however you want. That's what you do, just a very light washes of color on your paper, and do that to all of them. And whatever color, whatever, here we go, turn it over and you can get some blotting effects too. You can even put your hands on it and handprints, I love it. So make a bunch of those, and there, so you've got the fused paper. If you have any questions on the fused paper, we've
Well,
got,
Elke was actually
yeah,
wondering, was that palette paper that you're painting on top of?
I'm painting on palette paper by Strathmore, which is waterproof wax paper. I love this stuff. Could have taken this piece and, well, it's the same as, it's almost like freezer paper, really, on a pad. Now, so someone asked if these items are available in a bundle. What a good idea, Phoebe. That's a great idea. But so far they're not, but that's something to think about, isn't it? It's a bundle. I love that idea. So just make a bunch of these sheets, 5 by 7. No, cover. I just painted this cover dark blue because I wanted this paper to really show off. And here's my sheets that I did earlier, and I'll add that to the bunch. These are just some sheets that I had painted out of the sulfite paper, and then I just have some random, doesn't even have to be exactly 5 by 7, but just random pieces to insert in that. And this is going to be assembled into the book 2 weeks from now. So like I did mention I will do the recording ahead of time in case for some reason I couldn't do the live, but this will be wonderful to look at. And you can see I've got some of that, the Usugami and the Asagami are kind of like not centered, but I don't care. I think this is gonna still look good. I'm not worried about it. What I could do is while it's still wet, is I could just take this part and kind of cut that out so it looks like I meant, there, see, I just did that. It looks like I meant that to be off center. Same thing here. I'm just going to tear that off a little bit and tear that off so that it doesn't look so perfect on the corner there. I don't think I'll even do that with that. This will get glued on with white glue. You're going to glue this onto your cover. There we go. Okay, so there we have it. That's our fused paper. And I really will suggest is don't take it off the backing paper until it's completely dry, because it's, very delicate still at this time. And one thing I did do, and I wanted to explain, if you notice, this one has some metallic going on. What I did was it's the same as this, of course it's a different string. I use some baker's twine with some color on it. And I use this interference blue, and I just gently like dry brushed it over on top of this piece. If I think I could show you, I think it would be really pretty to show you how that can be done. I'm going to put this piece here. I don't have it. Oh, I could do this. I was meaning to show you anyway. So let's say you wanted to watercolor on top. Let's see, I'm going to do some indigo. I'm going to put some watercolor on top of my piece here. Just a little, just to color it. And I can even color the string by doing the same thing. And there's nothing wrong with using watercolor. It'll work just fine. And there, I've got the string. It's going to get colored. And let's see, what other color could I use? There's a blue. Oh, no, that's a green. I don't want that. Trying to keep on the blue theme here. I might even just use some of this cerulean blue and ultramarine mixed with the indigo. And it's just going to cover it. Now it feels a little sticky because of I'm reactivating the glue. And that, just so you know, it is water soluble glue. But once you put the acrylic over it, if you want to put gel medium or anything over it, it will seal it. So I have reactivated the glue, which isn't a bad thing. Let's see. Just going to put a little more on there. And that gives you something kind of fun. See how that looks? It's different now. Instead of just being plain white, you've got something that's got some color on it. Okay. Now the last thing I do is this is the acrylic. So this will seal it. I'm going to put a little bit of this on it. Normally I would do it when it's dry, but I want you to see how it looks. I'm just going to kind of dry brush it over. And it's not going to be as dramatic because it's not very dark underneath. And the acrylic paint is going to seal that glue. And I'm using my Fusion mixed media brush, which is perfect for this. And Phoebe, when are these going to be available? I forgot.
So the one that you're using now, that 1 inch, is available. We already have a 1/2 inch and a 1 inch flat fusion brush available. So yay! Those are hitting stores still. They're still relatively new, so definitely look out in your favorite art supply store, or if you don't find it there, you can find it from our online shop. And we're also going to be introducing 2 new flat fusion sizes that Karen helped us come up with. So that'll be coming like end of this year, maybe early next year.
Yay. So the Fusion, you usually know about our Fusion watercolor. This one is perfect for mixed media. It's great for watercolor, but it's also really super strong for doing glue. You know, what I had just done. I mean, if you want one, this is a lot softer. This is a little stiffer, but still really good. Look at that nice flat wedge. And the prices are phenomenal. It's just, you can't beat the prices. So if you need when these are great for applying glue and for doing fused paper, anything like that. And I love these that you can hang them to let them dry. Anyway, I just love those. I'm so glad that they're available. So there, I'm gonna let that dry, and this one is kind of the idea is to make it kind of a shine to it, but not too shiny. But look how stiff, it's like a piece of cardstock. And I'm going to fold this in half for the book. It's going to get folded like this. Okay. All right. That's how that's going to go on my book. And the cover, and then this little cover, it's when it dries. I'm going to fold that in half. And then all we need is a needle and thread, like just regular, like a needle and thread. And then this is going to be glued on with white glue. And that's just the basic cover. And then we'll do a single signature book. And it's such a fun little book. Very easy to make. And all we need is needle and thread and your papers, and that'll get put together, and you can even do edging. Oh, here, I'm gonna show you some. All right, then I'm done. It's already 10 after, and I could go on till 5. I know me. I'm going to take a slightly smaller brush, and I'm going to show you if you wanted to use it. It's so dramatic on dark paper. Just going to do the edges just a little, just to kind of highlight the edges. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a very subtle kind of an edging thing I'm doing here with that. Can you see that? There, just kind of, you can smear with your fingers. You can do the corners a little bit so you can get a little more showy. I love this stuff. And does this feels like leather? It doesn't feel like paper anymore. So, and I think the glycerin will give it a little more durability, back and forth folding when you're working a journal. It's going to be a little bit more sturdy so that it will take repeated folds back and forth. I'm just kind of rubbing it on, making it look kind of like it's random. And then my cover is ready to go there. Just did a little bit of that, just to make that prettier. Okay, that's it. I can keep going. Any questions anyone have? Are we good?
I think we're good. Um, yeah, I guess somebody asked, but I put in the comments, but maybe you could explain better what the backing papers are called. And I believe she means like the craft paper mat, the freezer paper, the
Oh,
palette paper that
sure.
you've been working on.
Yeah. Okay, so these are silicone, this kind of stuff. This is a Ranger makes these. They're kind of a silicone coated fibrous stuff. It's called a craft mat. That's the brand. That's the you can get them in a big roll. You can get them in different sizes. I cut them down. I think they're a little larger, and I cut them down with my paper cutter. And they're great waterproof. They're waterproof. Then there's another thing I found. It is a kind of backing. I don't think I have the one here. It's made for. I bought it on Amazon. It's not waterproof, and that's the only thing. It's white, and it's a silicone. It's made for ironing. The ironing sheets, those are really good, but they're not waterproof. If you like waterproof, then you want to, you stick to these. That's kind of what I've been using. And this here, if you want to use these as a backing, they also work because, oh, no, I'm actually, some of the colors, something soaked through because the paper's sticking now. I don't know what that is, but something soaked through the second side. So this stuff is pretty good because you can see it doesn't stick. So I'll let that dry right on there. And then once it's dry, I can throw that away. But I love the idea of reusable stuff. So these silicone baking sheets, even the Silpat, they're made in France. They use them for making cookies. You can do that, all your stuff on that, and then you can wash them and use them for cookie making. So they're really usable. And then the blue paper. Okay, so the question was that what this is, it's a sheet of hot pressed watercolor paper, 100% cotton. So if you have hot press, if you have any kind of paper, it doesn't have to be cotton. But I did use this because I thought it was a nice sturdy card material. And if you notice, I'm going to take off one sheet here. You notice, see the spring in it, can hear it. It feels like paper, right? And if I'm to fold this paper, it's a very it's stiff, but I can do it, right? I can fold it and do a book cover, no problem. But this one is the same paper that I treated with glycerin, and I just slathered it on and kind of rubbed it in, waited for it to soak. When I sort of you could tell when it starts to soak in. Watch Shannon's she has also a thing about treating paper with glycerin. So check that out. But no, I folded it and it's like feels like a piece of leather or something. It feels really good. In fact, I'll just reverse the fold here real quick. And I think it's going to be great for this book cover because I don't see the cracking here. See, this is a stiff and this is not. It feels very pliable and supple. That's the word I'm thinking. And that's the one what I want you to get if you want to do, if you want to treat your paper with glycerin, this is kind of how you get it. And I was able to paint it afterwards. It still feels a little sticky because I think I put too much of it on. So kind of be careful. I'm sure it'll dry over time, hopefully. And if not, I'll put some gel medium on it or something, but it feels really good. So that is a 5x7 piece of watercolor paper. I hope that answers. Oh, so someone put, please some close up. Yes. Yeah. So I will probably, definitely when I make this, I'll do the recording for this in the next few days. And for this to assemble this book, and I will of course show close-ups, and of course we'll have oh no, Shannon, did you get that link by the way? Oh, you did, huh? Shannon,
Yes.
yeah, she's great. I really enjoy her. I don't know, I've never met her. I actually, we've crossed paths many times at the CHAs and the craft shows, but I've never met her that I know of. but I really love her work. I discovered her doing paper beads because I love paper beads, and I saw her doing paper beads, and I followed her, and I thought, whoa, I love this. So, oh, and the chat on this one, you just find it right here on the Facebook, right? Is that right?
Yes, so I believe if you click on this video afterward, because after this live stream ends, it'll take like maybe a minute for Facebook to process the video and save it under the videos tab of our page. And I believe if you just click on that, it'll appear on your screen with the video on top and the chat replay on the bottom. And I think there's different ways to replay it, like show the whole chat or show the live replay as the video progresses.
Oh, so Michael asks, what are paper e-beads? I have a bunch of them. Let me just grab it real quick. You can do these out of washi paper too. I did a thing on these once. Um, that would be that would be a fun stream to do, by the way, paper beads. But these are paper beads that I had made years ago, but that's made out of paper. Whoops, some of these are clay. These are clay, but the ones that are shiny, those are paper. These are not. Okay, that's the paper beads right there. See how shiny those are? And they're really sturdy and they're made out of just paper that you roll on a little tube thing. And I use these for doing, for a lot of different things. I just recently used a whole lot of them for a necklace that I made with shrink plastic. So yeah, they're really handy little things to have in your stash for embellishing. That would be a fun live stream. We'll have to do one. All right, so I am finished making a mess today. I hope everyone is inspired to create this fun fused paper, and then we'll do these really cool book covers and make the journal. We'll have that so that you'll be able to make one of your own.
Thank you, Karen. And I just want to say, I don't know if you got to see all the messages and hearts as they were coming in, but everyone in the chat has been super supportive and everyone's wishing you really well through treatment or whatever you have coming up for you. And thank you so much for doing these videos for me and from everybody. It's
Well,
a real
thank
treat.
you from my
Yeah.
from my heart. Thank you so much, everyone, because it means I've gotten some happy mail and your wishes, well wishes, really, helped me through this journey. And I know I'm not alone. There's so many people who've reached out who have gone through this as well. And we do this together, and I really appreciate everyone. And just I appreciate all of you, and if Phoebe and Yasutomo especially for allowing me to play, and you make my days go so much faster.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, it's good for all of us. We love seeing you get creative and we just let you go and do what you do. Karen comes up with this stuff on her own. It'll be a week since I've talked to her, and then we'll get on a call and she'll be like, Phoebe, I was playing around with materials and I came up with this cool new idea. And that's how a lot of these lives are born.
So I just love this because butterfly flower tea is one of my favorite teas. I love that you can change it changes from blue to purple when you add lemon. And if it has cancer fighting properties. I'm all over it, but I love that stuff. I have a whole bunch of it. So thank you for that. Definitely taking care of myself, and I'm feeling the love from everyone and the healing energy, everything's going to be fine. I just may be a little wonky for a couple weeks or so, but otherwise, this is not going to get me. I'm going to be fine. And I appreciate everyone's support and love, truly do. So we will see you. If we don't see you in a couple weeks, we'll see you the next time. And for sure, we'll have this video up in a couple weeks so you can continue this creative journey on the fusing of the papers.